Man, what's up, your boy Domuto. Be back with another video. Man, I just had a fucking Charlie horse before I started this freaking video. Oh my god, man. I just started working out again. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Slim ED is coming soon. Anyway, shout out to SmugStick for this video, man. Shout out my boy Smug. Hey, SmugStick, I didn't know you were doing other content. I see you, boy. I see you. If you need some help with some content, let me know, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. But today we're watching another What If. I'm gonna check out one of them deep dive videos too. What if Super Boo was good, part 1. Alright, I wanna see how you do this one right here, man. Super Boo. It's one of those, it's a top tier character. Top tier Dragon Ball character, or villain, I say that. And shit. Let me see, we'll get into it, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and there you go.
Story. We open up in the battle between Majin Buu and Pure Evil Boo. And this is where our biggest change comes in. Instead of Fat Boo being turned into chocolate, he bounces back the candy beam, actually overwhelming his skinny gray counterpart. Pure Evil Boo is turned into chocolate, and Fat Boo takes slow steps towards him, picking him up and eating him. Fat Boo begins steaming as Mr. Satan looks at him terrified, watching Majin Buu transform. The whole area is enveloped by steam as Mr. Satan approaches the monster with fear in his eyes. As the steam begins to dissipate, Mr. Satan notices that Majin Buu looks different. He no longer has a cape, and instead he stands tall, clearly more powerful than ever before. But while Super Boo stands there, he ramps up his power, screaming at the top of his lungs that he is hungry. Mr. Satan is confused. Was he still his friend or not? He carefully offers up some food as Super Boo turns his head and smiles. Boo likes Mr. Satan's food. The champ relaxed. He looked stronger, but he was still cheery and goofy. Meanwhile, from the lookout, Piccolo gulped. He still wasn't sure if this Boo really was a good guy or not. He was clearly changing because of Mr. Satan, but they had to stop him one way or the other. So he continued to train Goten and Trunks. At the same time, Gohan continued his training to get potential unleashed, but hours continued to pass, and Goten and Trunks eventually mastered the fusion. Gohan even completed his ritual, yet Boo never attacked. The old Kai and Shin insisted that they needed to take care of him, but even Goku was a little confused. Maybe he did turn a new leaf. Even so, Gotenks was tired of waiting. He wanted to prove that he could really take on Boo. So, after one last time of practicing the fusion, Gotenks as a Super Saiyan burst towards Boo's home as Piccolo tried to stop him. Mr. Satan tried to stop the situation. He did recognize the golden hair as that of the one who defeated Cell. He even tried to convince himself that it was all a trick, but he also tried to convince them that Boo was actually not a bad guy. Gotenks didn't believe it and instantly attacked Boo. It was an all-out brawl, but this Super Boo wasn't being cruel or sadistic like the original. Instead, he was just having fun. He even admired some of Gotenks' crazy moves and tried to take a bite out of the galactic donut. The annoyed Gotenks even came to the point of saying that a true hero would avenge everyone killed by Boo, showing off his Super Saiyan 3. Shin thought that Gotenks could actually beat Boo, but everyone else stayed quiet, because this Boo was completely different from the one they feared. Goku stood up and said that he thinks Boo was really changed for the better by Mr. Satan, and that he thinks they should maybe stop Gotenks. The old Kai thinks he's crazy, but Gohan continues to watch the fight. He thinks that his father is right. Gohan stands and tells Kibito that he is ready to go to Earth. Thankfully, the ritual to unlock Ultimate was finally done, and Kibito agrees to teleport him in. Gohan instantly bursts towards the battle site, as Gotenks is about to fire a great blast at Super Boo that would instantly end him. Just then, Gohan appears before the fusion and tells him to slow down, that he hasn't been listening nor sensing Boo. It seemed like the battle Boo had against his other self had really quenched the evil. Gotenks argued otherwise, even while Mr. Satan told him to please listen. But as they argued, a piece of Boo shot out from him and onto Gotenks, consuming him and absorbing. Gohan tried to stop him and burst out his aura, ready to fight. Maybe he really had been wrong about Boo. It had been a long time since Boo absorbed the evil Boo. So much time, in fact, that we are at the point where Gohan gets absorbed in the original. Thus, Vegeta actually arrives on Earth with Uranai Baba, ready to help Gotenks against Super Boo. But instead he found Gohan fighting a Gotenks absorbed Boo. Vegeta rushed in to help, but as the trio get ready to clash one last time, Mr. Satan ran in front of Boo holding B. He yelled at Boo to stop this, that although fighting is fun, gaining advantage because he absorbed some poor kid's power is not good. He is being very bad, and he won't get any more sweets if he keeps this up. These guys are trying to kill him. Vegeta wanted to just attack, but Gohan held him back. Boo looked at them with a scowl. He then began to steam out as he released Gotenks from himself. Boo apologized and said that he was just having fun and needed more power. He was just hungry anyways. It was weird to Mr. Satan. This Boo was clearly smarter than before, and despite his explosive temper, he still listened to him and cared more about having fun. Vegeta couldn't believe it, but his thought was cut short when Gotenks defused and Trunks ran to hug him. From the lookout and the Kaioshin realm, Goku and Piccolo sighed in relief. It looks like Mr. Satan maybe really had changed Boo for the better. Boo wasn't extremely thrilled to fight anymore. He was mostly just hungry, and there was plenty of desert for him to turn into candy. Gohan and Vegeta were still a little unsure, keeping an eye on Boo the whole time, but they had other things to do now. They needed to revive everyone and restore Earth. But the Dragon Balls had recently been used earlier to revive those killed by Majin Vegeta. That's when Goku thought of the Namekian Dragon Balls, getting the help of King Kai to help them communicate with them. The Namekians had already gathered them just in case Boo's attacks got worse, and were more than happy to help their Earthling brethren. The first wish was used to restore the planet to normal, and the second to revive those killed by Boo. Even Vegeta's halo disappeared. The final wish was to make those civilians forget about these events. Now, let me stop here for a second. Some people would argue that without the Spirit Bomb and the fusion, that Vegeta's soul would still be evil. But either way, Bulma and Trunks would have wanted to revive Vegeta, so the final wish would have been used for it. And later, the Dragon Balls on Earth would have been used to erase the memories of Boo. So this is just a little cleaner. With Boo remaining on Earth, Satan is reunited with Videl as he introduces everyone to Super Boo. They're all terrified, but Gohan promises them that he will make sure he remains in control. At least for now, he seems like a good guy. With that all being said, Goku had one final message for his friends. He was happy to see them all okay, even if he did have to remain in Otherworld. He's going to keep training, and is sure that he will see them once again when they all die. But there is one thing they can do. The Kaioshin has let him remain in the Supreme Kai world for now, and he is willing to allow visitors. In particular, he really wants to see what this new Boo is made of, since he never got to fight him, as well as Gohan, Gotenks, and Vegeta. The Z fighters are all happy, and they actually do get to have a picnic at the Kaioshin realm all together to celebrate. It was a little bittersweet, and in the end, Kibito teleported everyone back home, and Goku had to stay. But when they returned, Bulma realized that Vegeta didn't come. She shook her head with a smile, as she knew Vegeta and Super Boo had both stayed behind to have a real fight and train with Goku. Mr. Satan stayed too, just in case Boo got a little too crazy. It was an incredible fight, and something they would routinely do from then on. Their power really skyrocketed, and even Boo got a better appreciation of all the different fighters, copying various techniques and learning more. And so, peace had returned. Boo could still be a problem. If the chef ever messed up his cakes at Mr. Satan's home, he'd go on rampages, which Gohan, as the great Saiyaman, would have to calm down. But there were a few peaceful years, with Goku inviting Boo, Gohan, Vegeta, Gotenks, and whoever else to train up at the Kaioshin realm. He couldn't leave, and it wasn't very often they could come. But slowly, he started to develop his Super Saiyan 3 even further, and Boo himself continued to grow. Goku wondered what it would be like to train someone like Boo. If only
That is weird that he never perfected his Super Saiyan 3. I guess he never... You don't need it now, but still,
could have been reborn as some little guy. Well, he would have to make do with this. And so, years passed on by. And so peace did remain. That was until the god of destruction Beerus appeared at the Kaioshin realm. He had recently had a dream about the Super Saiyan god, and heard that a Saiyan lived at the Kaioshin realm. Goku stayed there since it was easier for Vegeta and Boo to get there, and there was more space to fight. Thus, he stayed there more so than at King Kai's. Whis and Beerus appeared while searching for the Super Saiyan God, and were not impressed with base Goku. Even Super Saiyan 1 and 2 were nothing. Super Saiyan 3, however, actually made Beerus pause. Goku had focused on this form, as the stamina drain wasn't a big deal with his dead body. The constant training against Buu with it made it really impressive, and Beerus was amused when Goku actually managed to land a punch. He was lucky to already be dead, and friends with the Kaioshin. Otherwise, he would have erased him right then and there. But clearly, it wasn't the Super Saiyan God. Beerus resigned to go to Earth, where Bulma's party was going down. Vegeta retained peace for as long as he could, but Buu is still Buu. Despite getting told to be on his best behavior and being a little smarter, he is also a beast of nature. He had already eaten most of the pudding and refused to share. Gohan and Vegeta both run his way to try and stop him from doing anything stupid, but it's too late. He is eager to fight. If he was making Vegeta so scared, surely he was strong, and the stronger they are, the tastier they will be. Beerus and Buu clash overhead, with Super Buu himself impressing the god of destruction. The people of Earth sure are interesting. No wonder Buu was capable of so much destruction. In fact, Beerus was sure that he could sense God Ki within him. Unlike the original, where the godly power of the Grand Kaioshin mostly went to Kid Buu, all of it remained within Super Buu. At this point, it was clear to everyone that he had no choice but to battle. What they didn't expect was that Buu didn't want the others to interfere. This was actually fun. Beerus was severely holding back, and was more so curious about this guy. As slowly, Beerus began to realize, not only thanks to the God Ki within Buu, but things he heard from the Kaioshin, that this pink monster nearly killed Shin, and by extension, almost killed Beerus. As the fight intensified, Buu was punched down to the ground, with Beerus threatening him with destruction. Suddenly, however, a piece of Buu jumped at Beerus from behind. His aura alone was enough to stop it, but it wasn't the only piece. Pieces of Buu tried to absorb several of the Z fighters, as he had left portions of himself scattered through the battlefield. This included 18, Tien, Gohan, and Piccolo. Gohan yelled at him to stop, but it was too late. Buu was getting desperate, and was sure that if only he had a little bit more power, he'd be able to overcome Beerus. Not realizing that the god was hiding his true strength, the fight resumed, with Beerus laughing at the absurdity. He could gain powers from his allies like that? Not very nice, is it? But Buu's power did increase, even if just a little bit, and he pulled out his best. He made sure to utilize 18's infinite stamina to abuse the Tri-Beam over and over again, trying to predict where Beerus would be. From Gohan's incredible potential to Piccolo's battle tactics, they were all at full display. Beerus couldn't believe that this kind of monster had been living on Earth. It reminded him of another pink video game character he knew, using his friend's abilities like that. Beerus was having fun, but it was time to stop, appearing behind Buu and knocking him down. Before Buu could recover, everyone stopped in front of him and told him to stop, and to release their friends. He can't just be absorbing people like that. Buu was angry, but also fearful. With Piccolo within him, he actually understood the kind of threat Beerus imposed. The god of destruction began creating a giant key ball behind him. He said that if that's the best they've got, surely no Super Saiyan god lived here. That's when Goku's voice was heard. Goku was talking to them with the help of King Kai, telling them that they should ask Shenron about the Super Saiyan god, and agreed that Buu needed to behave. Buu growled, but Mr. Satan's plea finally convinced him, as he released the absorbed warriors. Shenron revealed to them the god ritual, but immediately they ran into a problem. They didn't have enough Saiyans. Whis asked about the Saiyan from the Kaioshin realm, but he was already dead, wasn't he? Upon hearing this from the crystal ball, the old Kai instantly grabbed Goku, telling him that if they don't do something, that Beerus' anger will only rise. They've been the universe's defender so far, so if everyone dies, then who knows what could happen? Without asking, the old Kai gave Goku his life, so he could return to Earth and complete the god ritual. They were all happy to have Goku back, with Chi-Chi, Gohan, and Goten crying tears of joy, in addition to the revelation that Videl is pregnant. Vegeta was the one chosen as the head of the ritual. Beerus was already impressed by Goku before, so why not give Vegeta a chance? He was the Saiyan who was actually alive. Unlike Goku's fight, which takes him to space, Vegeta faces Beerus deep within the Earth's core.
Vegeta.
The battle reaches a critical moment. His moves a dazzling display of power and speed. However, as the fight intensifies, Vegeta's control over the Saiyan Saiyan God form begins to wane. His connection to this new power was still unstable, and he began to lose it. As the red aura fades, Vegeta finds himself reverting to base, his godly power slipping away, surrounded by molten lava and the immense pressure of the Earth's core. His body battered, but his spirit unbroken. As Beerus prepares to launch what could be the final strike, Vegeta reflects upon his journey. He remembers his past obsession with surpassing Goku, how it consumed him, his every action driven by the need to be the best, the strongest.
You gotta be the very best,
in the face
Vegeta.
of certain defeat, Vegeta realizes that his motivations have shifted. It's no longer about being better than Kakarot. He fights for his family, Bulma, Trunks, and for the friends he's made along the way, though he would never admit it out loud. This realization reignites his will to fight, not to prove that he's the best, but to protect those he loves. Summoning every ounce of strength within his Saiyan pride, Vegeta powers up back into Super Saiyan God. In the final desperate move, Beerus and Vegeta rush at each other, fists pull back, full of energy. All the lava around them becomes completely still. As they clash fists, all of Earth begins to shake violently. Surely the world could be destroyed if this goes on. Lava explodes from below and surrounds.
Watching this shit now, it's crazy how much this nigga Beerus is holding back. Cause if y'all any manga readers in here, this nigga Beerus is fucking cooked. Perfected. Well, no. What's that form? Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. Vegeta. Like Vegeta didn't get a punch in. If you any manga readers in here.
Surrounds them, as finally, with one last scream, to grab Beerus' arm with his other hand and slam him back down into the lava. But that was as far as Vegeta got, as he ran out of Super Saiyan God and fell into the lava himself. But instead of actually reaching it, Beerus rose from it, holding onto the prince. It was obvious to Beerus now just how different the prince was to his father. Things really had changed for the Saiyans. Thus, Beerus decides to spare Earth just for a little while, impressed by the many fighters and the fact that he found another whose hunger rivaled his own. He looked at Boo as he was about to leave, telling him to behave himself, and that someday he'll come to him for meals, since he now knew Boo could turn whatever he wanted into food. If only Beerus had that ability, how he would trade it for Hakai any day. And so, once again, peace returned. And he's keeping an eye on the fight, and decided not to destroy Earth. Now, Goku and Vegeta eagerly go to Beerus' planet to train, with Beerus and Whis keeping an eye on Super Boo. He was too unpredictable, too strange, but not everything's as it seems, as Sorbet uses the Dragon Balls to revive Frieza. The like goal for this video is 4,000 likes. Let's continue with the story. It's been a few years since Beerus threatened Earth, and ever since then, Goku and Vegeta have been going to his planet to train under Whis' tutelage. Boo ended up going under a deep slumber for a while. Having eaten all those people at once really made him tired. But he finally learned not to absorb people without asking first, a lesson Mr. Satan really tried to instill in him, along with Gohan. But there was a positive to come out of it. It seemed like Boo having absorbed so many people actually did make him a little smarter, so his rampages through Satan City have become less frequent. Not like the people of Earth really care. They all think this is just a stunt show, and that Mr. Satan hired the great Saiyaman to fight the villain of the week. Whis often asks Boo to come over to Beerus' planet. He's a great asset to help Goku and Vegeta train, without them fighting each other all the time. Plus, they always get a nice meal afterwards. Beerus is still unsure how he feels about the monster, and doesn't really let him come over often. Boo himself prefers to sleep, and this was life. Until sometime later, Boo has continued to live peacefully on Earth. It's fun to eat and play with his friends. Boo is one of the most versatile fighters, despite being eclipsed by the power of the Super Saiyan gods. His training with Goku and the others through the ages has really evolved him greatly. Even so, he does sleep quite often. Whis even likes to bring Boo around as a test for Goku and Vegeta every now and then. Them working together against a near indestructible opponent is a great check-in. Even so, Boo mostly spends time at home. He goes by Gohan's house when Satan is busy, and enjoys playing with Pan, even if he did think she was a loaf of bread once. One of these many times, while Boo was playing video games and Piccolo takes care of Pan, the Z fighters perk up. There was something incoming, a large mass of power which didn't really impress Boo. He didn't think it felt that powerful. Gohan sighed. He had been lacking in training lately, and now he's behind even Boo. He needs to keep his head in the game in case things happen, and things were indeed happening. As the Frieza Force spaceship landed, the Emperor had been revived. While Gohan and Piccolo discussed what this could be, Boo had already fallen asleep. With Mr. Satan trying to shake him awake, Super Boo just mumbled that you should subscribe, until he finally woke up. Prior to leaving, Bulma asked Boo if he could turn a random rock into a wonderful dessert, so she can try to call down Whis, Vegeta, and the others. Boo refused at first, because he wanted to eat it for himself, but Gohan insisted that he would have a lot more to eat if they won this battle. A city was destroyed, Earth was in trouble. Gohan and Piccolo instantly hurried out there, while Boo's stomach growled. They promised that he would get to eat at some point. Once there, the various fighters arrived. They were glad to see Boo and Gohan. Even if Vegeta and Goku were out there somewhere, at least they had Boo. As Frieza made himself known and the Frieza Force soldiers rushed out, Boo's stomach continued to growl. Frieza was surprised to see Majin Buu. He was one of the only people his father warned him to never rival. The other was Beerus, but Frieza was sure of his incredible abilities, and he had nothing to worry about, commanding his forces forward. But it was over as soon as it began. The Z fighters were taking down soldiers left and right, but Buu just saw a sea of candy. Rising up to the sky, Majin Buu fired a massive candy beam that covered the entire area. Krillin had to jump out of the way, not the first time, since Buu said he looked like a tasty chestnut, but everyone else was safe, as Buu avoided his friends. All of the Frieza soldiers dropped to the ground as candy, which Buu instantly began to eat. It was quite disturbing for everyone, but the Z fighters played it off better than Frieza, who actually looked terrified. Looks like he will have to finish things off quickly. Gohan and the others got into their battle stances, while Buu just continued to eat in the background. Frieza smirked, saying that they've clearly gotten insanely strong ever since their last battles. Gohan is still definitely stronger than in the original, thanks to having dealt with Buu, but he still feels inadequate since he's been slacking off. He burst into Super Saiyan 2, rushing at Frieza. The Emperor is hit, but he strikes back. Frieza had improved to an incredible degree and decided that without his soldiers to take care of the small fry, he will instill fear in them. He will show them his final form. Frieza's power rose, turning into his elegant final state. This caught Buu's attention as he stopped eating and smirked. Now this was interesting. Frieza fires multiple blasts all over the area, hitting some of the Z fighters, but mainly aiming at Gohan. Piccolo was about to move ahead of him, but Buu would never let someone hurt his good friend Gohan. Buu burst before the blast, his elastic body actually bouncing it back to Frieza's ship. Frieza couldn't believe it, but he was glad to see that at the very least, the blast did hurt Buu, who now had a burning hole in his chest. It recovered, but now Buu was excited. Frieza was actually pretty strong. Buu burst towards Frieza, who's able to fight back fairly even against Buu. The biggest issue here was just how weird the Majin moved. Frieza knew he needed to avoid the antenna beam, but he didn't realize how versatile Buu was, even hitting him back with a pink Kamehameha. This was seriously getting tiresome. He was here for Goku and Vegeta, not for some weird pink monster. He would have to end this in a single blast, as Golden Frieza. The Emperor glowed a vibrant color, slowly peeling to reveal the Super Saiyan-inspired form. The Z fighters looked terrified. Without Goku nor Vegeta around, there was nothing they could do. But before Frieza declared himself as the victor, a candy beam came bursting his way.
Hey kids, don't go away.
I forgot you did this shit.
We'll be right back.
Tried to slap it out of the way with his tail, but he was instantly transformed into a small chocolate version of himself. The Z fighters looked at Buu with terrified eyes. Frieza's power seemed like it could have taken them down easily, but Buu defeated him in one shot? They were sure glad he was on their side now. Buu chuckled as he skipped his way onto the cookie, when suddenly it began to glow and rise up. Buu was confused, but the chocolate struck him in the face. The Emperor could still act, even as a cookie. The aura he radiated was incredible, as Buu kept on trying to eat him, only for Frieza to keep on fighting. Buu had no option but to turn him back. Frieza was livid, and he swore to kill Buu. Frieza's power rose. If they didn't get Goku nor Vegeta down there, they would certainly die. But Gohan thought of something. Buu, absorb us. Together, we may be able to still stand a chance against Frieza. The Z fighters weren't happy about this, but Frieza rose up to the sky.
We had no other choice, boy.
In his hand.
Oh shit! And he unplugged it.
blast off, only to get destroyed. Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien, they were all absorbed, while Roshi stayed behind to make sure someone was out there to get Buu to release them eventually. Buu's power skyrocketed, but not to the exact degree where he could match Frieza. Even so, the Death Ball was interrupted by a giant Kiko hole. Frieza was hurt by it, before being slammed down to the ground from above by a giant demon wave. Frieza continued to fight, as Buu used up all of his friend's techniques. Plus, now he knew Frieza's own techniques, thanks to Piccolo and Gohan's memory. Buu had a severe advantage, even if his powers didn't quite match Frieza. As he continued to fight, Buu gathered more and more power onto himself, knowing Gohan's plan of getting Goku's attention. The Emperor used everything in his arsenal, culminating in him using another Death Ball to try and consume Buu whole. Buu didn't have time for the Kiko Ho now, and he tried to push it back. Slowly, he was being consumed, but despite his fury and hunger, deep within Buu he felt a sense of responsibility to Mr. Satan, Gohan, and his friends. He burst his aura one last time, keeping the ball from touching the ground. Just then, a blast came Frieza's way. Vegeta and Goku had arrived. Buu was able to push the sphere back, launching it into space where it exploded. Buu was tired, and in response, he stuffed more of the candy soldiers into his mouth. Goku thanked Buu and the others for their help, but they've got it from here. Even so, Goku was impressed, and Gohan telling Buu to absorb him was very brave, and it put Buu a lot higher than he realized. That, coupled with his strange moves, made Frieza actually struggle, but the real battle was about to begin. Beerus and Whis noticed this too. Surely, if the battle had continued, Buu would have likely won. But he has no horse in this race. Even with the Z fighters inside him, he knows that this is truly Goku's and Vegeta's match. So he resigns to continue eating. But he pays attention to how the battle continues, analyzing Goku and Vegeta's moves, as well as Frieza's, learning from them little by little. Frieza damned the duo, and Buu himself. Meanwhile, the Majin released his friends at Roshi's request. Tien and Piccolo hated it and hoped to never do it again. But Buu did compliment them on their interesting techniques, showing off his own powerful Kiko Ho. It seems like he kept a lot of interesting techniques.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry I'm not talking. I'm just kind of interested in the story. My fault. But, come on. What did Chao Shu provide here? Blowing himself up? I'm just my hating. I'm probably hating. I'm sorry, Chao Shu. That's all. I mean, Chao Shu just there. He's just there for the aesthetic, I guess. You know what I'm saying? He goes with Tien's fit. That's what he do.
Showing off his own powerful Kiko Ho. It seems like he kept a lot of the techniques for himself. Without sorbet to stop Goku from defeating Frieza, since he was eaten, the fight is a complete wash. Though Vegeta does interrupt it himself to make sure he gets a chance to fight Frieza. But the Emperor is desperate. He can't hope to win under these conditions. As he begs for mercy, Frieza gets ready to take the planet down with him. But Buu, who has been watching the battles while eating from his pile, realizes what's going on. Super Buu needed to act fast. Frieza looks quite tasty in his chocolate form, and didn't want to waste any food. He rushed in and launched the candy beam, turning Frieza into chocolate. But it was too late. Vegeta launched his attack and killed the Emperor. Buu fell to his knees, crying. All he wanted was a little bit more chocolate. He doesn't get anything. He wasn't allowed to absorb people, he couldn't absorb Frieza, and now he doesn't even get his chocolate. He swore that one of these days, he's going to absorb someone really strong, and maybe then he'll finally be satisfied. But he didn't think so. Vegeta cursed the blob for intervening, but Goku was more curious. It did seem like Buu was a little smarter than before. Could it be that because he absorbed Piccolo and the others? Could it be he's actually learning a little? It didn't matter. His martial arts alone were something else. Buu wanted to keep fighting, but Goku and Vegeta said that if he wanted to fight, he'd have to come home to Beerus' planet. But decided that instead, he should go take a nap, heading back to Gohan's home. He did, however, mention to Gohan that he could feel so much more power within him than what he had access to. It was just a comment and not made nearly as eloquent, but Gohan took it to heart. Maybe there was further power to reach. Goku and Vegeta rolled their eyes. They did want to fight Buu, but they would force him to go with them to Beerus' planet one day. Buu was just happy that he would get to sleep again. But Beerus and Whis had watched the battles go down. It was clear that Buu was evolving. He had changed a lot ever since Beerus fought him. He was impressive back then, but nothing beyond a curiosity. At this rate, however, he could become quite a foe. So Beerus told Whis that if he wanted to have him over more often, that would be okay, so long as he behaves. Neither Whis nor Beerus are interested in training Boo, but Boo seems to be improving on his own, learning from every fight he has and every match he watches.
Okay,
and
Boo.
that power would come in handy. As from
Caribou.
a universe beyond the stars, Beerus's younger brother Champa sets his eyes on
shit.
Earth. And though you can't depend on Boo for a lot of things, you can't depend on one thing. He's not going to allow you to mess with the place that has the best cake in the universe.
Shout out to my boy SmugStick for this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out some other SmugStick video you might like right here. And check out another story you might like right here that's about Dragon Ball. And you know, I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.